And just like that, everybody, here we are again. Welcome back to more esports talk. Yet again, talking about some Fortnite pros who have been banned from the game. Actually being issued the longest ban ever in Fortnite pro history, unless you want to count Jarvis in his lifetime ban. That's going to be a set of 60-day bans handed out to 4 Fortnite pros. That being Slacks, Kreo, Bucke, and Keys have now all been banned officially following FNCS, where they actually were teaming and colluding. Now, this first ban kind of brings a lot of thoughts to mind because, of course, 60 days maybe seems harsh, especially when you compare it to Ziff and Ronaldo, the notorious Epic Games World Cup qualifying case where they banned those 2 teamers and colluders, the same offense as these other 4 members did commit. They banned those 2, though, for only 2 weeks. They come back later in World Cup qualifiers and managed to qualify for the biggest prize pooled event in esports history after cheating during at least part of the qualifiers. Now, of course, we have several months later, guys, and the first big bans this year as well, that being 4 Fortnite pros, and I would say rightfully so. All of the evidence out there is it's pretty obvious. These 2 teams were actually not only stream sniping. Kreo was actually in someone else's, I believe that was Key's stream, brought to us by Savage, reposting that screenshot. So not only stream sniping, but also teaming, including to get that storm surge damage to avoid damage later on in the late game as well. I'm not sure there's much else to say except for Buck. He also made his statement. I'm not even sure this statement is certainly up in the air in questionability because all of the pro players out there, everyone who has seen the clip so far, makes it pretty obvious these 2 teams were trading back and forth damage, not going for those kills against each other. The argument out there that a lot of these teams actually know the drops, they know their same paths, their same routes because they scrim together. I'm not really sure if that argument is going to withstand these rule sets because anything that's teaming, including, guys, if you're going to make it obvious, you're going to get caught, although it does bring a great debate because, yeah, a lot of these pros do know other pro drop spots. They know their routes, their pathways, and so at what point in time do we start really cracking down on the fact that other teams could be teaming but making it a lot less obvious? I'm very certain that's probably the case with the higher tier pros out there, and certainly other pros out there are in some ways maybe avoiding other teams, choosing to avoid them because they know where they land. Is that teaming and colluding? Maybe not necessarily as harsh in this case, but it's certainly it's a weird time in esports where you know where other teams are going to be, and so you knowingly can actually avoid those teams or play around them because that's just how the current atmosphere of Fortnite is. And I'm not saying that avoiding a team because you know where they're dropping is necessarily teaming or colluding, but it's a weird time in battle royales trying to be esports that we have all these Fortnite pro players out there who scrim constantly with other teams, and so they know things that, you know, maybe in other esports you just wouldn't have the knowledge of. So can you blame some teams for using that knowledge? And certainly when it comes time for teaming, including, the way that these 2 duos did it is abusing the system. There is no argument around this, guys. Using each other for storm surge, that is an obvious breaking of the rules. And if every team did this, just like Bala said, can you imagine the chaos that it would be in Fortnite? Very lastly as well, what I brought up in the first point is of course the ban system, right? We know that Epic Games and the way they run their esport is very, very curious, and certainly we can all agree the Ziff and Ronaldo ban was too light, although it does bring to light another thing out there, at least now. If going forward they will keep these bans the same way across the entire board and very, very harsh, I am all for this. A 60-day ban is probably what the first ban should have been for Ziff and Ronaldo, and it's the fact they are cracking down now and hopefully in the future as well. I just hope that other cases out there get investigated as much as this one has. If you guys have been throughout the past 3 to 4 months of Fortnite kind of semi-off season, we've certainly had a slew of accusations against other top figures in the Fortnite pro scene, and they were not investigated properly by Epic Games, at least I don't think, and no bans were ever issued for some pretty suspicious activity. So, Fortnite pros continue to be the victim of cheating and teaming and colluding because it's a system out there in esports which is very, very easily abusable to earn a couple hundred or a couple $1,000, especially in these cash cups and FNCS tournament style events. Hopefully it will be stopped in the future, as now 4 Fortnite pro players have been issued 60-day bans for teaming and colluding. As always, hope you guys all enjoy breaking down esports gaming news. If you guys have a story, I will try and cover it as soon as possible. Until next time, stay safe. Don't cheat, huh? All right, have a good day.